All right, what is up, everybody? Shao Scout 0013 here, coming in with another unit breakdown, this time on the Death Troopers. And I'm going to cover the Death Troopers today because I feel like I haven't gone over an Imperial unit in a while, so I do apologize because I do really love the Empire and the different units they have. So I wanted to go over that. I wanted to go over a little bit of housekeeping first. I wanted to go ahead and shout out the Discord. If you haven't been to the Discord yet, head on over there. Feel free to drop a list that you are thinking about taking, and we will discuss it, whether it's like Empire, Republic, whatever you've got. It seems like, a lot of you guys do post a lot, and I'll post one every now and then. The hobby part seems to be doing really well, and so if you're really into hobbying and you're looking into painting and stuff like that, that'd be great. Whether you do a lot of, whether you finished stuff or you even do commission painting, feel free to post it in there. So yeah, and this also enters you in to win a new giveaway. This time I'm going to be giving away a General Veers unopened pack, expansion pack. So if you are playing Blizzard or you do just play the Empire and you don't have Veers yet, then this is your chance to wind up winning a box of Veers. The second way to enter is to become a member on the Patreon. And you don't necessarily have to be a paid member to get entered in to win, but if you do become a paid member, it helps out the channel a lot, and it does enter you in more times for the giveaway. And also, lastly, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment down below, and that also enters you in to win. All right, so I will announce the winner of the giveaway for the Rebel Trooper box in the comment section. No, well, I will enter it into the post. You'll see a post of who won. So check that out, and hopefully, if you see it, go ahead and get to me and let me know. All right, let's talk about the Death Troopers. These guys are awesome. Now, they could be a little bit better with Impervious, but I'm not exactly sure how everything is, but they've got some great armor. So there's 4 in a unit. They all have 1 health each. They're 2 courage, which is not bad. It'd be cool if it was 3, well, but that might be too much. They do have red dice saves. They surge to attack and defend, so they're kind of like Mandalorian armor, but not impervious. They've got 2 guns. They have a range 1 to 3 gun, which is black, that they can all shoot. They have a range 1 to 2 gun, which is 2 white, that they can all shoot. And if you ever are trying to split fire, then you can do that, I'm sure, as well, because they're 2 separate weapons. So you could, have 2 of them shoot the range 3, 2 of them shoot the 2 white, and then if you have a heavy, you can have the heavy shoot that. They all surge. They've got precise 2, so when you spend an aim token, you can reroll 4 total dice, because you can roll 2 additional dice. So each aim allows you to roll 2 additional, so you're rolling 4. They have a red in melee, which is not bad either. I really do like that. They have disciplined 1, so whenever they're issued an order, you can remove a suppression token. That way they don't have to roll, but if they do have more than 1, obviously you can have to roll. And then ready 1, so after you perform a standby action, you're going to gain an aim, which is not too bad, but, if you're force pushed, if you're shot at and gain a suppression, then you lose the standby. So that's pretty tough. They've got a heavy upgrade, a training upgrade, a comms upgrade, a gear upgrade, a regular just armament, extra config upgrade, and then grenades. So yeah, they're awesome. I just wish, again, they had Impervious, and that would make them last a little bit longer on the board for what you're paying for, or just make them way cheaper. All right. Let's take a look at their heavies. So they have the DLT-19D Trooper, which is very expensive. Oop, my bad. Very expensive, but 30 points. It's range 1 to 4, 2 red and a white, and it's impact 1. So not too crazy. And then the other trooper is the DTF-16 Trooper. She's a range 1 to 3, and it's a black and a white. She does have 2 health, so that's pretty awesome. And I say she because I think the DTF-16 is a she, if I'm not mistaken. And I could be, so just, leave a comment down below. But with DTF-16, you're going to gain Compel. So if you have Krennic or not, this is awesome because you can, after another friendly unit, doesn't say what type, it just says unit. So obviously it's a trooper unit, but it's not like you compel only special forces or something like that. After another friendly unit at range 1 to 2 rallies, if it's suppressed but not panicked, you can gain a suppression token and perform a free move action. Usually, Vader has this, and so does Krennic. So to have a special forces unit where you don't have to bring such an expensive unit to have Compel, to have this on a special forces is really nice. And she becomes your leader. And again, it's 2 health. And it's only 15 points for an extra 2 health unit. It's awesome. Super awesome. 87 points with just her. The config, I'll just go over real quick. It's a grenade launcher config, which is range 1 to 2, red, and it's got blast. So if you wanted to, if you shot the range 1 to 2 gun config with one of them and then had the rest of them shoot all the white or even a little bit of the black and then the heavy, there's lots of different options you can choose from. And then it's got the focus fire config, which is a range 1 to 4 that everyone can shoot as well. It's oppressive and it's a single black dice. Now you can, sorry about that, guys. You can reconfigure this with a recover action. So when you recover, you flip it back. So that's pretty nice to have. And again, it's free, which it used to cost points. So I'm glad it is free now. If you take a training upgrade, I think that some of the ones that you might want to take are offensive push, because if you're going to recover the config, you're going to recover offensive push, and it keeps you pretty mobile, because then you can move, gain aim, and then shoot, and then if you need to recover at some point, you can. If you bring Veers along as a commander, Veers has a command card, a 3-pip, that allows 2 units besides him to recover, because it gives it to Veers and 2 other units. And so, the Death Troopers would be able to recover if you did want to do that. So offensive push is not bad. Overwatch is also not bad, because if you do plan to take a standby to get the free aim, it's at least a range 1 to 3. And so when they move into range 3, you'll be able to shoot or move, and it's really not that bad. And that's really it. Those are the 2 main upgrades. I'm sure Hunter could be attached to them if you wanted, but that's a lot of points that I wouldn't put into them, because if you did have the regular heavy, it's 102 points already. And Hunter doesn't work on vehicles, which, this one's more impact. So, yeah, that's really it. Honestly, those are the 2 best, offensive push and Overwatch. You're really kind of wasting a bunch of points otherwise. The comms upgrade. So if you have, Veers, if you have Krennic, the good thing about Krennic is Krennic's entourage. So entourage with Krennic, Imperial Death Troopers. While you're giving out orders, you can go ahead and give out a free order to the Imperial Death Troopers. So they're going to gain an order, and then they have Disciplined 1. So when they gain that order, they can remove a suppression token, and go. So if you wanted to, you could add a comms relay to them. So whenever you hand out the free order to the Death Troopers, kind of like direct, then you can use comms relay to give another friendly trooper unit, or another friendly unit, I should say, at range 1 to 2 in order. So if you wanted to give it to, let's say you had the shore troopers, you can hop from the Death Troopers to the shore troopers and give them the free aim from target 1, and then they can also probably coordinate to a mortar if they're in range. Or if you have we'll say, Inferno Squad, if you bounce it off Death Troopers and gave it to Inferno Squad, they also have coordinate with Gideon to a core trooper. So then you can, give the free order to Inferno Squad, who can then give out a free order to the shore troopers, who can then possibly coordinate to an emplacement trooper, whether that be an E-Web or a mortar. So comms relay is probably you only need one, I should say. And so having it on at least one of the Death Troopers is not that bad of an idea, especially to have a little bit better order control in some cases. Also, if you have way more than, one Death Trooper, emergency transponders could be okay as well, because, if you're activated without an order, or say you didn't get an order from a card and you had to pull from the order pool, you can gain an aim, a dodge, or remove a suppression. So, being able to gain that aim with Precise 2 is really good, especially if you're rolling a ton of white dice, because if you're rolling 8 white dice and then you have the DLT as well, so that'd be 9 white dice and then 2 red, so you're rolling 11 dice, you might want 2 aims, so it's not that bad to get. Alright, let's look at some gear. So really, You don't need targeting scopes because that would give you precise 3 and you would be re-rolling 6 dice. Well, you're probably not going to need to unless you plan on just getting really close with them, which sometimes you're probably not. And, maybe recon intel would be the only thing necessary for the Death Troopers if you are going to bring something, maybe environmental gear. But for the most part, I don't even think you'd need anything. But if you do take something, recon intel would probably be one of the better things to take. And for grenades, you can probably pick and choose whatever grenade you want. That is not something, frag grenades have them already, but they have the grenade launcher at range 1 to 2, and they already surge to hit, but and it's blast, so everything's getting through anyway. But if you feel like you're taking on a lot of armor, then maybe the impact grenades could be good. But with their config, it's free. I don't think they really need a grenade. So if you do take something, maybe a smoke grenade, or yeah, honestly, that's really it. I think that's all you would need if you do bring something. So that's really, a basic build for Death Troopers is, either the 102 point build or the 87 point build. And yeah, I think they're best paired with like Krennic, Veers, Iden. Man, that's really it. So let's take a look at 4 different list ideas. These are all fun. I don't know how competitive they truly are, but I've run at least one of these, and let's take a look at them. So let's take a look at an Imperial Remnant. So with Imperial Remnant, it's different. You have to take 1 Death Trooper. So if we just take a look at the requirements right here, these are the requirements. You have to take 1 of all of these. And then you can put any heavy you want on them. So like if for the Stormtroopers, if you wanted the DLT Trooper, you could. But this is one of the things that I'm looking at. It's 20 points for 2 red, impact 1, range 1 to 4, or 10 more points for an extra white dice. Doesn't make any sense in Imperial Remnant, so hopefully maybe one day they can fix that. And yeah, it's really cool to be able to put even like the Sonic Saboteur on, the Stormtroopers. And so you have red dice saves with the Sab. I mean, that would be pretty fun. I'm not going to lie. And it's just a crit, at least just that does. So to have like a 5-man Sab unit with red dice saves, if you had a ton of different Sabs out there with red die saves, I mean, they're probably gonna that would be a lot of fun. That'd be pretty cool. So if somebody does actually do that, please let me know. I would be very, very interested to see someone take a bunch of Stormtrooper Sabs in, Imperial Remnant. All right, let's keep on looking. So we have the Imperial Officer, just nothing on her, because you're probably going to keep her in the back. Because with Imperial Remnant, anything beyond range 2 of the Rebel Officer is independent aim or dodge. So the good thing is with the Death Troopers, if they're beyond range 2 of the Imperial Officer, they can have independent aim. So they don't necessarily have to take an aim. They can take a recover action and then shoot, and then have precise 2 with that free aim with the HH-12. So now you have impact 9 already with the Death Troopers, and then you have the config so that everyone else can shoot at range 4 with the HH-12. So you have quite a few dice. You have 7 dice at range 4 that you're shooting. All black, surge to hit, impact 3. Not that bad. And then you have the Scout Troopers. I have with the Scout Troopers with the T-21 because you're going to be rolling a ton of dice with that. So you have 4, so you're rolling 8 black and then 4 white, critical 2. Because they don't surge naturally, so you're rolling 12 dice at range 2, critical 2. That is super fantastic. And then they have low profile, Scout 3, so they're getting in close pretty quick, and Sharpshooter 1. So that's, I feel like, a pretty deadly unit. I have the Short Troopers as well with the T-21, because they also don't surge, and then at range 3, you're rolling 8 dice, so it's basically a Rebel Vet unit with red dice saves. Then you've got a naked Stormtrooper unit. You have 2 E-Webs. Now, there's 3 points left, so if you did want to put, maybe the overcharge generator to gain more impact in case you didn't feel like you had enough impact, or suppressive, I feel like the suppressive one wouldn't be that bad because, with the Dark Troopers down here, you've got the frag launcher on them gaining another impact too. So you've got impact 11 plus a ton of critical in here. The E-Web surges to crit. You've got critical 2 on all the T-21s. You've got, the impact here. So this is going to be a good anti-armor list. It's also technically 11 acts because the Dark Troopers count as 2. And again, you get independent aim with the Scout Troopers and the Shore Troopers because they're probably going to be beyond range 2 of the Imperial Officer. And yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks that these guys are Courage 1, the Shore Troopers and the Stormtroopers, but, it wouldn't be bad. And if you did have to give the Shore Troopers an order, because the order range is also range 1 to 2, if the Imperial Officer is that close and giving an order to the Shore Troopers, at least they have target 1, so they are getting an aim from that as well. So lots of free stuff here. I mean, there is a way to do a defensive build, with Scout Troopers and situational awareness with independent dodge, and then you could just take an aim and shoot, but I don't know if that'd be truly worth it, worth the points and stuff. But this, I feel like, is a fun build. You've got one Dark Trooper, and yeah, 3 Death Troopers, because obviously this is a Death Trooper video. So yeah, and here's, it's all the just generic cards, and then, I've got the objectives, conditions, and deployments, and if you're looking for these lists, they are in the description down below, so take a look and check that out, and if you wanted to build, at an extra 3 points, you can, but you have a bid at least. All right, let's take a look at the classic build, basically, with a little bit of updates on a suppression list. Now, this is like a version. There's tons of different versions out there, but I've got Krennic with lead by example because you're probably going to be getting some suppression yourself. You have Bossk, who's got a suppressive Pierce gun at range, 2 to 4 with Hunter and targeting scopes. You've got 2 Shore Troopers with the T-21B, which is also range 1 to 4, critical 1. They have recon intel so that they can move up and then also move the mortars up even closer. And then you've got 2 Death Troopers in here. Both have the DLT 19 with the, or D, I should say, DLT 19D upgrade, and they both have the config. One of them has the comms relay because you have Krennic, so that way if you needed to give an order out to the Shore Troopers to get that, target 1, you can. I've got a range trooper in here with the T-21A, which is also range 1 to 4, and suppressive. And then you've got an eWebs team with the barrage generator in case you needed more suppression. So this list is all about basically every single unit except for the 2 Shore Troopers have a suppressive, and Krennic I should say, have a suppressive gun because the mortars have suppressive, Bossk has suppressive, the configs here are suppressive, the range troopers got a suppressive gun, and the eWebs a suppressive gun. So if you're trying to dish out some stuff, there you go. And let's even hold it up and check this out. The Annihilation Looms also gives out some suppression. So if you are trying to panic your opponent at the very end to have them either drop the hostage unit, drop the box, don't count in the breakthrough because they're panicked, then Annihilation Looms in the last round with all of your guns trying to point at them could be a very fun way for you, not maybe your opponent, but for you to win the game and not even have a force user. And it's 10 activations, so that way you're trying to last a little bit longer. Everyone has a heavy, everyone is range 4 except for the eWeb. And the good thing about the eWeb though is it is an emplacement trooper. So your Shore Troopers, if they do get an order and they're close enough to the eWeb team and you wanted to give eWeb an order since it's the only eWeb, but you have 2 support technically, then you could technically give the eWeb an order by coordinating it from the Shore Trooper. So that's not a bad idea, I don't think. Yeah, and if you got any questions, let me know, but I think, Bounty in there is also pretty nice. All right, this list I have run before, and it was fun for a little while. A little different. You've got Kallus in here. Kallus has improvised orders and the bow rifle. You have Boba Fett in here with Seize the Initiative, Hunter, Recon, and his Flame Projector. You've got Iden Versio with Offensive Push, and the loadout could be Hunter, depending on what gun you have her in. I've got Situational Awareness on there because she's got Nimble, and I really love being able to cancel crits, especially like just the one maybe that goes through. You've got her Repeater on here whenever you take offensive push, and you've got the sniper rifle on here whenever you want to take hunter, so that way you're kind of more prepared for any situation. And then she's got ID10 on there for that extra life and for the extra shield. I have one unit of Death Troopers with the DT F16 and the config, so I know it's a Death Trooper list, but and hey, there is one in here, but the next one I think you might like as well. You have an Inferno Squad with Del Meeko, Gideon, and Hunter. And then you've got a strike team, sniper strike team in here. So you've got all your, tactical strike units that you can use. And you've also still got Compel, because just in case Inferno Squad and or Iden, they've got Courage 3. So if you need to compel them just in case to move, you can. Or if you need to compel somehow Boba Fett, because he might have something, you can. And then you've got 2 shore trooper units and 2 mortar trooper units, because you have to have core, obviously. And both shores have the recon intel to be able to get the DTF or the mortar trooper up there in case you wanted to possibly, So if you wanted to fire support, at least the mortar is closer, because what you could do is if you somehow gave an order through the command cards, obviously, gave an order to Inferno Squad, they could coordinate it to a shore trooper who can then coordinate to a mortar trooper, and then whenever you fire Iden shot, maybe if you just have a sniper config on there, it's just 2 black, so maybe you fire support with the mortar. It'll be 2 black, 3 white, critical 1, and she has possibly an aim, so she can also marksman that aim, and then, there you go. So you got some crits coming through. You've got Boba Fett's 3-pip in there to be able to give an extra black dice to the mortars, or an extra black dice to your strike team, or an extra black dice to her black 2 black dice sniper rifle for 3. The Inferno Squad, you can give an extra black dice to Del Meeko if he's just shooting by himself. Lots of fun things to do. And Agent Kallus can also be a good, just commander in the back who's, taking some pot shots, range 1 to 3, or at least, if your opponent has a Jedi or a Sith, or just a Force user, I should say, you have someone who is immune to Pierce in melee, so they're not going to die. They also have charge, and if it's not a Jedi, you do have Pierce 1 with lethal, because he's got tactical 1, so if you double move, you're gaining some aims, which is not that bad. And then again, you've got Boba Fett for an extra bounty and objective play. Iden, I feel like, is a very good objective player with Inferno Squad. And then again, just lots of good, fun stuff in here. Another 10 activation list. Not too bad. And lastly, you got Director Krennic. This is just a fun 10-act list again with 3 Death Troopers this time, in case you really wanted to go ham with more Death Trooper units. I personally only have 2 because I thought that would be all I ever needed, but it turns out you can run 3. And so one day I might have to get myself a 3rd Death Trooper unit. But you have Krennic with lead by example and electro binoculars just to make him useful. And then you've got a Death Trooper unit with the DLT-19 and the comms relay along with the config. So that way, again, if you needed to give out an order to Iden or Inferno Squad, you can give it to the shores, then that'd be great. And then another unit with the DLT-19 in the config, another Death Trooper with the DTF-16 in the config. So you've got 2 ways to compel, so you can spread out your compel across the board. You've got Iden Versio with the same loadout in the last time. You've got Inferno Squad with Del Meeko and Gideon. You have technically 5 extra points if you don't include situational awareness, but that's kind of up to you. Again, I like situational awareness on her, but that's just my way of liking to build her. And then you have 2 short troopers and 2 mortar troopers. Again, 10 activations, $7.99. You got tons of Death Troopers that can go in. You got Iden and Inferno Squad, so that if you ever wanted to take Tac Strike and move them down to speed 1 and then double move them, they'll get 2 aims and 2 aims from tactical, and they'll have steady, so then they can shoot all at range 4 with 2 dice. Maybe if you saved it a little bit and some Wookiees are coming in or someone like that is starting to try and charge in, you play Tac Strike, you double move them, you get 2 aims, and then maybe if someone's at range 2, then you're shooting, maybe you want to say 8 white dice or if they're at range 2, maybe you've put them into the grenade launcher, and I mean, maybe you recover and you move one, you gain an aim, and it's blast. You've got 3 red and a white, and then you've got another 6 white dice blasters to hit with an aim in case you wanted to reroll 4 white dice to try to get something else through. Not too bad. Yeah, I mean, this is just a fun list in my opinion. But there you go. All of these lists will be in the descriptions down below. They all have orders and order cards or command cards and the objective, condition, and deployments. So yeah, feel free to check that out. That is really it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Head on over to the Discord and just become a member. It's free. If you've got stuff that you want to talk about, chit chat about, feel free to please come in and post it. If you want to support the channel a little bit more and help me with, either getting more supplies or getting stuff to help with the giveaways, then become a member of the Patreon. Even if it's $1 a month, that all helps. Anything really truly helps. It's just kind of up to you. And become a subscriber and leave a comment to get entered in to win a Veers. Alright guys, y'all have a wonderful time. I want to thank you, or give thanks to the Patreon members that we have already. We've got Tyson, Emperor Atlantis, Daniel Padilla, Anthony Estrada, and Grant Saunier. Thank you guys so much for all of the work that you do and for donating so much. You guys are fantastic. So may the rest of you have a wonderful 4th of July and a great weekend.